Sofía, what do you think about your mother's condition?
My daughter's completely unaffected by this. I watch you as closely as you watch me. It's what mothers do.
And your work?
I deferred my studies. Sophia is a permanent student of anthropology.
Wonderful. You study patterns.
Life is flexible. We can change it.
Sophia, get in!
It's also elastic. We always go back to what we grew up with.
The struggle was always just to keep it very alive. You know, you just think, is the tension going to sustain? Because you can always sustain tension in a scene, but to sustain tension in a whole film. And it's a lot of work making a film. And, you know, you kind of think, is this worth, you know, for an hour and a half of, you know, but it's kind of, it's just incredible. So I think it's many things, it's complicated, but it's just keeping the faith of the story. You know, you have to try and keep that faith, and that can be difficult. Because in the book, it's first person, you know, it's all in her head. And I thought, do we need a voiceover? You know, do we need a voiceover? And in the end, I thought it's far more interesting just watching her face and seeing what's happening there. And then, you know, this refrain of the dog barking and the cicadas, which never are quiet, and the fridge hums, and, you know, the sea, and everything that should be beautiful, like the sea, you know, the sound can be quite oppressive too, you know. So we tried to get as much tension there as possible so that by the end, you're kind of like, what is going to happen? And, you know, a crazy thing does happen.
Sophie, you should come with me.
Look at all this blue, Sophie.
Were you happy as a kid?
I was never innocent.
She's frustrating and frustrated, but I think too, when you're writing, you become so familiar with the material, you know, so you're living with it day in and day out. And whilst you absolutely love each character, and you can't understand anyone who doesn't love each character, you're also kind of become a bit attuned to them. You know, you become a bit neutral because, you know, you've lived with that emotion with them a long time. So that's a challenge too. The film almost finds its own tone and its own rhythm. I mean, obviously you're guiding it, but it becomes its own creature in the edit. So pretty late on, I thought, okay, this is it. We're gonna go dark.
You were always fearful. You were never brave. You hated change. What would you do if I could walk? What is wrong with you?
You know, you hone and try and decide when this explosion will happen. And then the tension between them, they hadn't met before we started filming. They went straight into one little scene in the marketplace, and then the next scene they were doing was that last scene in the car. You know, so this is two actors who just go dive in. And I suppose the preparation was just very much about their relationship, about codependency, what it does to you if you care for a parent from age 4 onwards. And with Fiona Shaw, it was more about bodily, you know, how is she? You know, how much can she take? She's in a wheelchair. On set, she stayed in a wheelchair all day long. And Emma, her daughter, would, you know, wheel her around. So the two actors were wheeling each, you know, were together all the time. And the tension really, it's not like we did lots of takes, it was just they were prepared emotionally. And then if you add to that we kind of tried to make the flat quite claustrophobic, you know, the apartment, and the production designer, Andrei Ponkratov, did beautiful things in making it sort of dark and strange. And then our cinematographer, Christopher Blaufelt, got certain angles where you feel like Sophia's trapped or the mother's in control. So there are lots of kind of mise-en-scène contributions, as well as their incredible consummate acting, which, you know, they could do without any of that and it would still be that tense. But at the same time, there were elements to help the tension.
Your mother has proposed something quite brutal.
Let's go, go, go! You have to embrace life, Sophia! You can't just endure it!